Hello, everybody. This is Vince Russo reporting from the WMARK newsroom. We have late-breaking Tony Khan news. It has just been announced, fresh off the press, hot off the press, that Tony Khan has been named Wrestling Observer Booker of the Year for 2020. Congratulations, Mr. Khan. Now, Mr. Khan appeared on the Wrestling Observer podcast to accept his award by the great Dave Meltzer. And Mr. Khan had this to say, and I quote, "To be honest, winning Booker of the Year is a lifelong dream for me." Now, since this comment may go down in the annals of professional wrestling, let me repeat it one more time. This is almost like I had a dream. To be honest, winning Booker of the Year is a lifelong dream for me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in its proper perspective. Winning Wrestling Observer Booker of the Year award has been a lifelong dream of Tony Khan. In other words, for a lifelong wrestling mark, because let's face it, that's what Dave Meltzer is. For a lifelong wrestling mark to name me Booker of the Year was a lifelong dream. Now, guys, I like to put everything in its proper perspective. So let me put this in its proper perspective to tell you what this is the equivalent of. Now, Dave Meltzer has been a lifelong wrestling mark. He's not a journalist. He didn't go to school for journalism. He doesn't have a journalist degree. He is very biased. How biased is Dave Meltzer? You really want to know? Well, bro, the guy who drew the highest ratings in the history of the wrestling business, believe it or not, according to Dave Meltzer, was never Booker of the Year. Let me repeat that. The guy who drew the biggest ratings and the biggest numbers in the history of the wrestling business was never Booker of the Year. No, Paige, why are you doing this to you? So let me put this in its proper perspective. A lifelong wrestling mark declares Tony Khan Booker of the Year in 2020, and Tony Khan says this was a lifelong dream. Okay, let me put it in its perspective. Now, guys, I am a baseball mark, a 100% bona fide baseball mark. Here's the difference between me and Dave Meltzer. I have no trouble saying that. I've never played the game. I've never interviewed players on the field. I've never been in major league dugouts. I am a bona fide baseball mark who has watched just as many baseball games in his life as Dave Meltzer has watched wrestling matches. But I am a fan. I am not a expert. I am a fan. No different than Dave Meltzer is a fan. But Dave Meltzer likes to be called a journalist. Bro, I'm not a baseball journalist. I'm a baseball fan. So the equivalent of what we're talking about here is if Vince Russo, lifelong baseball fan, made the declaration today that I am going to put Barry Bonds in the Baseball Observer Hall of Fame. Vince Russo, Super Baseball Mark, is going to put Barry Bonds in the Baseball Observer Hall of Fame. Then I get Barry Bonds on my podcast. Bro, just imagine, I'm laughing, bro, because could you imagine if me, Vince Russo, the lifelong baseball mark, were able to get Barry Bonds to do his podcast? Like, why would Barry Bonds, do my podcast? Yes, why would Tony Khan do the biggest wrestling marks in the world's podcast? But hey, shits and giggles, bro. It's shits and giggles time. Barry Bonds agrees to do the Baseball Observer podcast. And Barry Bonds comes on and he says, to be honest, going in the Baseball Observer Hall of Fame is a lifelong dream for me. You know, I've got to be honest with you. If you're watching this live on Twitch, if you're watching this on YouTube, bro, whether you're an AEW mark or not, bro, is this not the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen or heard? A lifelong wrestling mark crowns me Booker of the Year, and I go on his show and I state this has been a lifelong dream. Does anybody really understand how ridiculous this is? Bro, listen, I think the year that I was writing the WWE, that me and Ed Ferrara were writing the WWE during the Attitude Era, I actually think Meltzer named Vince McMahon the Booker of the Year when Meltzer knew damn well me and Ed Ferrara were writing the shows, but the unbiased Dave Meltzer could never name Vince Russo Booker of the Year. But he named Vince McMahon the Booker of the Year in 2020. Could you imagine Vince McMahon appearing on Meltzer's podcast and saying, to be honest, winning Booker of the Year is a lifelong dream for me? Bro, what has this wrestling business become? We don't have the blind leading the blind, bro. We've got the marks leading the marks. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Bro, if you don't think this isn't freaking hysterical, then, bro, you have zero sense of humor. Since I'm live on Twitch, I want to give a shout out to Zerk Z181 with a nice donation. Thank you, Zerk Z. I'm going to read your comments since you donated. TK is such a joke. It's hilarious. Imagine being the owner of a multi-million-dollar primetime wrestling company and going on a fan podcast to accept an award from a bunch of marks. Vince would never. Alchemist Bear with a nice donation. I heard it's Ichiro Suzuki's dream to be inducted into the Baseball Observer. Well, you know what, Alchemist? We're going to make history right now because I am officially going to induct Ichiro Suzuki into the Baseball Observer Hall of Fame. Done. Done. He's in. Alchemist, he's in. Now, guys, you've been getting little previews of You Better Call Khan because these are, bro, this is gold. This is gold, Jerry. This is gold. These are nuggets of gold that I will not pass up. Bro, you can ask my kids. When something makes me laugh, when something is entertaining to me, when I find something very comical, I like to revel in it. I love to revel in Tony Khan comments. And that's what Better Call Khan is all about. You've been getting a sneak peek right here on YouTube and on Twitch, bro. You guys want to follow me on Twitch? It's twitch.tv/Vince Russo Live. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please follow the channel. There's a lot of free videos like this. However, bro, you're only going to get these gems on YouTube and Twitch for the rest of February. Bro, you just got 2 Better Call Khans in the last 5 minutes. Bro, I may come on here 10 times a day. It all depends on Tony Khan's schedule. It really depends on how many Mark podcasts Tony Khan does. But guys, starting March 1st, Better Call Khan is going to be on our Patreon channel. Patreon.com/Russo TWC. You could see it right there. It's going to start on our $3 tier, but bro, on that $3 tier, you get so much more. It's less than a cup of coffee for the month, guys. You can opt out at any time. There is so much content on Patreon. But guys, I want to tell you right now, if you're enjoying this, and this will continue, bro. This will continue. I could play a third one right now where the guy basically said in an interview, I don't like being on TV, but every 5 minutes the guy's on TV. If you don't like being on TV, then why are you putting yourself on TV? Scott Steiner, the world's greatest ring announcer, thank you for the donation. Triple H is jealous that TK won Mark of the Year. Guys, if you like Better Call Khan, you're going to get this, bro, every single day on Patreon starting March 1st. But guys, I'm telling you, please do not sign up in February because the way Patreon charges you, if you sign up now in February, they're going to charge you for the whole month. So don't sign up the 26th, the 27th, the 28th. If there's more breaking news, I'll be right here on YouTube and Twitch. Wait till March 1st so you get an entire month. But guys, you will get this show exclusively on patreon.com/Russo TWC. That is it, everybody. Listen, man, if something develops in the next 5 minutes, in the next 10 minutes, I am ready. This has been Vince Russo from WMARK.